Hi guys, my name is Nas, and today I want to talk about three books by Hanya Yanagihara. She's an American novelist, and so far she has written three novels: The People in the Trees, her debut; A Little Life, her international bestseller; and To Paradise, her latest novel. I have very different opinions about each of these books, and I want to share them with you. Three books, no spoilers. Let's go. A few years ago, I started hearing about this book from literally everyone around me: A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I promised myself I would read it, but somehow I kept postponing for 9 whole years. And then a friend of mine brought her up again, talking about one of her other books, and basically pushed three of her books into my hands. At that point, I had no choice but to finally start. I picked up A Little Life first, since it's her most famous work, but after just 3 pages, I stopped. My thought was, this is going to be an incredible read. I want to savor it properly. Let me start with her debut, and then I'll come back to her biggest hit. So I turned to The People in the Trees. Honestly, I didn't expect much. I thought it would just be a decent piece of contemporary fiction. Boy, was I wrong. The language was stunning, hypnotic, pulling me right into its world. For example, let me just read you one of sentences from this book. Norton had always spoken of time as a sea, a mirror like, endless stretch of emptiness. And indeed, his dream, sea time, he called it, became a sort of joke, or shorthand for talking about subjects he hoped one day to pursue, but had no way of engaging in at the present moment. Beautiful. Yanagihara explores responsibility in all its forms, the branching path of scientific discovery, globalization versus local culture, and the relativity of values we often consider absolute. It's intellectually rich, but also emotionally gripping. For some reason, the book reminded me a little of the movie Avatar. There's this incredibly vivid and unique world with scientists, jungles, and indigenous tribes all woven into a narrative that feels almost dreamlike and magical. Reading The People in the Trees was a surprising experience for me. I went in with almost no expectations, but came out feeling challenged, unsettled, and impressed all at once. It's not an easy book, morally or emotionally, but it's the kind of novel that lingers with you, makes you think about science, power, and responsibility long after you've turned the last page. After finishing The People in the Trees, I went back to A Little Life, but by that time, I had already stumbled upon a spoiler about the ending and about the overall mood of the book. Because of that, I didn't feel much enthusiasm. I tried again, managed around 20 pages, and then stopped. So I decided to pick up To Paradise, Yanagihara's newest novel, published in 2022. The book consists of three separate sections set in 1893, 1993, and 2093. When I first started reading, I really liked it. The language felt simpler compared to The People in the Trees, but the plot drew me in. Then the story was cut off intentionally by the author, and for me, that was difficult. I had grown attached to the characters and I wanted to follow them through their entire journey. When the second part began, at first I couldn't figure out what was going on. Eventually, I got used to it. When the third section started, I already knew that the characters would be different, so I let myself dive in and I really enjoyed it. Because I love dystopian fiction, anything set in the future instantly hooks me. Overall, I appreciated the ambition of To Paradise. Each part leaves you reflecting on marriage, equality, freedom. I especially like the way each section ends. You will see what I mean by that. But my feelings about the book as a whole are mixed. I think it's because I don't really enjoy books that include two or three different stories in one. I had the same problem with Elizabeth Finch by Julian Barnes, even though he's one of my favorite authors. After To Paradise, I had no other choice, so I started reading A Little Life again. And this time I got hooked, especially after the ending of the first part. I love the little details about everyday life, the intimacy of ordinary moments. I won't spoil the book here. Maybe I'll make a separate video analyzing all three novels, their characters, and the plot. For now, I just want to say A Little Life was a difficult book to read. I think at some point I even felt numb because so much was going on. At the same time, I enjoyed slowly uncovering the layers of this life. It felt as if I had moved right next to the characters and was observing them closely. I know it's Yanagihara's most famous novel, but personally, I still prefer The People in the Trees. If I had to make my personal ranking, it would be The People in the Trees first, followed by A Little Life, and finally To Paradise. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and which one you like the most. And don't forget to hit the bell. More videos about books, movies, and languages are coming soon. See you!